Okay, well, I think we're going to go ahead and get started. It looks like we've had a few more people jump on, so I'm going to go ahead and get started. And I'd like to thank you all for joining us this evening for today's Veterans Aid and Attendance virtual seminar. Today's program is being presented by Providence Life Services. We're a senior living organization with communities throughout Illinois, Indiana, and Michigan. My name is Robin Pisak. I am the Vice President of Marketing for Providence Life Services, and I'm so glad that you all could join us today. Before I turn it over to our speaker, I would like to cover just a couple of housekeeping topics. We invite your comments and questions. At the bottom of your screen, you will see two buttons. One is for chat, and the other one is for Q&A. If you think of a question for the speaker at any point, you can use either button to type in your question. We will answer all questions at the end of the presentation. The session is also being recorded and shared on our website. A link will be provided to you through email once the presentation is concluded. Today's presenter is Kirt Denney with Patriot Angels. They are an organization that helps U.S. wartime veterans and their spouses navigate the process of applying for their aid and attendance benefits in order to pay for their senior living care. At this time, I am going to hand the floor over to Kirt, who will start today's program. Thank you, Kirt.
Hello, everybody, and thank you, Robin, so much, and ladies, for allowing me to be here today. Just super excited to share some information with you today. I do work for a company called Patriot Angels. I'm going to take control of your screen right here just for a couple seconds. And I want to show you a quick little video here. It'll kind of help you know a little bit more about what we do at Patriot Angels.
Patriot Angels is a consulting company, and we actually help veterans and widows get their benefits through the VA. It's actually called base pension with an upgrade to aid and attendance. If a veteran served at least 90 active duty days, one of those days during a declared time of war with an honorable general or medical discharge, they are potentially eligible for this pension. Then they have to be over the age of 65 and in need of some care. Unfortunately, so many veterans and widows have no idea it's even out there. They don't know how to obtain it. It would be like trying to do your taxes when you're 80 for the first time.
The VA is a huge organization, and there's a lot of red tape and a lot of bureaucracy that goes with being a big organization. They don't have bad intentions, but it's just difficult. And so a lot of veterans are not aware of the fact that they can get help. When my dad heard that he was going to get over $2,000, I think $600 a month, something like that, he cried.
A gentleman called us and he had finally got approved. He said I was eating every third day. My wife was in senior housing and I needed to make sure I had enough money that she could get paid for. And he said, you know, finally I can eat. Those are the people that fought for us. Our job is to serve them and fight back.
So that's exactly what we do every day. We are a team of advocates at Patriot Angels, and we literally fight to give veterans their benefits that they need and deserve. I don't know if you know this or not, but aid and attendance is created for veterans to help pay for their senior care. There are benefits, veteran benefits available to help you pay for senior care. Senior care can be expensive, and we want to help make sure that those veterans get those benefits they need and deserve. Here are a couple qualifications for the aid and attendance benefit. And again, what we do at Patriot Angels, we're leading U.S. war heroes and their spouses to a better life. And some of those qualifications are super simple. Here are some of those. They have to be 65 years or older or 100% unemployable. All right. So 65 years or older or permanently, totally unemployable. The second thing, another qualification is they had to have served at least 90 days of active military duty with 1 day during a time of declared war. Also, they had to have received an honorable general or medical discharge. There are some additional requirements for the surviving spouse. Those would be, for example, the spouse must have been married to the veteran for at least 1 year. The spouse must have been married to the veteran at the time of passing. The spouse must also have remained unmarried since the veteran passed away. There are also some additional qualifications. For example, the veteran can have up to $129,000 liquid cash asset. That means access to cash, for example, like a checking account, savings account, IRA, 401k, those kinds of things. Also, the cash value of a life insurance policy also plays into this as well. There are some additional things. A veteran can own a home as long as it's on less than 2 acres and they're not planning to sell it. Patriot Angels was a company created just right at 8 years ago. In fact, we just celebrated our 8th year. And we actually have a 100% approval rating with the VA. That's with full disclosure from the family. What does full disclosure mean? That means that we don't get 3 weeks into the process and find that the family finds $2 million under the pillow upstairs that grandma didn't tell us about, or a vacation home in Barbados that no one knew about. I just have one question. If you do find the $2 million, or if you do find the vacation home in Barbados, I'm available for adoption. I'm available and I'm ready to be adopted. But seriously though, as long as there's full disclosure from the family, we do have a 100% approval rating with the VA. Patriot Angels is VA accredited. That means that we operate under the supervision as per VA law, under the supervision of VA accredited attorney Victoria Collier. She's a nationally published elder law attorney. She's sharp, she knows her stuff, and we actually operate under her purview. She oversees every single case that goes through Patriot Angels. In addition to that, let me walk you through just one more thing here too. Here are some of the benefit amounts. The Aid and Attendance Pension Program, which is what we're talking about today, is designed to help supplement the costs of long-term care for you as a veteran or for your surviving spouse. As long as we meet those VA requirements, this pension can be used to offset the cost of care at a Providence community that you're looking at and make the cost of your care, the cost of your housing more affordable than ever. A veteran with no dependents can qualify for up to $19.11 a month. That's important to note that this benefit is tax-free, deposited in your bank account, and it's for the rest of your life. You don't have to requalify. In addition to that, a veteran with one dependent can qualify for up to $22.66. A surviving spouse can qualify for up to $12.29. Again, these benefits are tax-free, deposited in your bank account, and again, for the rest of your life. You can see that this benefit can be an amazing, amazing asset when you're trying to figure out how to pay for the cost of care. In addition to that, a veteran married to a veteran, we don't see this a lot right now, but in years to come, we definitely will. That's $30.32 a month, again, tax-free, deposit in your bank account for the rest of your life. Patriot Angels, we offer services that literally change the lives of veterans and their surviving spouses and allows them to be cared for with dignity. We're convinced that the veterans that have served our country so well, so faithfully, they should be cared for with dignity. And this benefit should be made available to them. And our team works to ensure that you and your spouse receive that financial assistance and the medical care that you need and deserve in a timely manner and without the risk of financial exploitation. Patriot Angels does not sell financial products of any kind. In fact, that's the basis of our entire company. Patriot Angels began on the one principle that we do not sell financial products of any kind. So let's talk for a moment about those assets. Remember the cash asset limitation of $129,000. We do not sell financial products of any kind. We do have access, and you're welcome to do this yourself at your local attorney. They can actually help you with a Medicaid compliant burial trust, which might help you meet that cash asset limitation. It has to be Medicaid compliant though, according to the VA. Also with your home, there's some other requirements there. I want to tell you just a little bit also about Patriot Angels. We work to provide you and your surviving spouse with a detailed analysis of your eligibility. We want to make sure that you're in the best position for approval. Now, the reason we have a 100% approval rating with the VA is because we never move anyone forward in the process unless we know for a fact they're very, very likely to be approved. Of course, we're not the VA. We don't work for the VA. We work alongside the VA as an assistance program. But here's how the system works. You'll go through a series of phone calls. On that very first phone call, they're going to ask you how you heard about Patriot Angels. And that's where you're going to say, I was talking to Providence Life. I'm so excited about moving into Providence. Well, we're excited about that too, because Providence is one of our valued partners. And we're super excited about this day, being able to share this information with you as well. So the next phone call is where you'll meet with a client consultant. And this is where they're going to do more of a deep dive into all of those things, making sure that you're in the best position to qualify. Patriot Angels does have a one-time fee. It's $795. And the reason we have this fee is because it is allowed by the VA law. Also, it is also helping pay for the pre-filing consultation, which we're going to receive. We do at Patriot Angels, we actually provide a long-term care assessment. You'll be provided with and briefed on other state and local benefits you may also potentially be eligible for, as well as other VA programs you can also qualify for. Our specialty is aid and attendance. But I will tell you this, we're going to work very, very hard to make sure that you're in the right position to qualify. Well, again, with full disclosure, we have maintained an absolute perfect record with the VA, and we never sell financial products of any kind. I want to tell you just a little bit about the history of Patriot Angels as well. Suzette Graham, our CEO and founder, she's been advocating for the vulnerable all of her life, as did her mother before her. In February of 2000, Suzette actually won the Heroism Award from the governor in the state of Alaska, Tony Knowles at the time. Because of her lobbying efforts, she was able to help get the laws changed to better protect children in the custody of foster care system. She literally went to battle and got those laws changed for those kids. And as it grew, Suzette's passion for assisting the vulnerable really just became not just her personal passion or her family's, but she grew a team of advocates, which is what we're experiencing today and what I enjoy every day when I go to the office. And we now have turned that attention toward the Veterans Administration, the benefit program, and navigating for those veterans, those widows, those families, the caregivers, and also for their communities. By utilizing this veteran pension fund, which is made available again through the Veterans Administration, our veterans and their families can better afford their choice of accommodation in a Providence community, as well as alleviate some of that stress that comes behind long-term funding. There's sometimes it's enough transition when we're moving out of our home, moving into senior care, even though it's an independent care, there's still transition there. We want to help make sure that's as easy and as quick and as painless as possible. So right now, what I'm going to do is I'll open this up back to Robin. And if we have any questions today, I'm happy to help answer those.
Okay, thank you so much, Kirt. I appreciate that. Thank you for that wonderful information. Before we start the Q&A portion of the presentation, there are a few people I just want to introduce to all of you. As a reminder, if you have a question that you've not yet submitted, please enter it into the Q&A or the chat box, and we will get through as many questions as time allows. As I mentioned at the start of this presentation, Providence Life Services is proud to own and operate 12 senior living communities in Illinois, Indiana, and Michigan. Represented here today are 7 of our communities who I'd like to share just a little bit about. First, we have Emerald Meadows, which is located in Grand Rapids, Michigan. And Annalise Buchanan is with us today, and she's our representative from Emerald Meadows. And at Emerald Meadows, we provide assisted living and memory care. Next, we have Park Place of Elmhurst. Park Place of Elmhurst is located in Elmhurst, Illinois. And at that community, we offer independent living, assisted living, skilled nursing, memory care, and rehab. And we have Laura, Laureen, and Sam with us. Next is our community in St. John, Indiana, Park Place of St. John. With us today are Kimberly Mewborn and Kim Schroeder. And at Park Place of St. John, we're proud to offer independent living, skilled nursing, memory care, and rehab. Also with us today is our community in Zeeland, Michigan. At Royal Atrium Inn, we offer assisted living, and Jeff Zylstra is our community manager, and he's joining us today. And next we have Saratoga Grove. Saratoga Grove is located in Downers Grove, Illinois. And at that community, we offer independent living, assisted living, and memory care. And with us today, we have Renee Farr, and also with us is Laura Camano. Next, we have Victorian Village. Victorian Village is our community located in Homer Glen, Illinois. And at that community, we offer independent living, assisted living, memory care, skilled nursing, and rehabilitation. And with us from Victorian Village, we're happy to have Kathy Coyle and Tracy Zamerchik. And then we have Village Woods. Village Woods is our community located in Crete, Illinois. They offer independent living and assisted living. At Village Woods, we have Meredith and Diana with us today. And as you can see on each of the slides, we did have contact information for each of those individuals if you'd like to reach out to them with any questions about either aid and attendance or about their community. And of course, as I mentioned earlier, we will be sending out a copy of all of the slides to you at the conclusion of the program. So with that, I'm going to, looks like we have a few questions here in the chat as well as in the questions. One of our questions, and this is for Kirt, the question is this $795 fee the only fee? And is any portion refunded if the senior does not qualify after the consultant reviews the case?
That's an excellent question, Robin, and here's the deal. Actually, they're never charged. The first consultations are free while we're evaluating to make sure. The $795 is not charged unless we know they can qualify for that long-term care assessment. So there is no charge to find out if you qualify. Excellent question, though.
Thank you, Kirt. I'm sorry about that.
Okay,
so our next question is, my dad is on his second marriage. His wife has some money, but it is not used for my dad's care. When you say the cash limit is $129,000, is that the combined savings of both families or just for the individual?
That is also an excellent question. Can you ask it one more time? For some reason, my volume is not quite as loud.
Oh, sure. The question is, my dad is on his second marriage. His wife has some money, but it is not used for my dad's care. When you say the cash limit is $129,000, is that the combined savings of both families? Or is it just for the individual making the application?
Okay, that would probably end up going down to the line of, or are they filing a joint income tax return? Or is his name on the bank account? Those kinds of things would all matter. And our team, they'll actually help you drill down on that better. But if his name is not on the money and he has no access to it, I don't think it qualifies. However, I would definitely ask the team. That's a good question, though. Excellent question.
Okay. For that individual that asked that question, can they reach out directly to you, Kirt?
100%
if they want to ask a follow-up question to that?
Yes, 100% yes. Let me
Okay.
give you a number that they can contact us at. It is 844-757-3047. And we are open from 8 o'clock in the morning until 5:30 in the evening, and that is Central Time. Technically, it's 8:30 to 5 Central Time. And that's 844-757-3047. You can also go to patriotangels.com and you can click on the tab that says start a free consultation and just fill in the blanks, put your information there, and someone will be reaching out to you very quickly. They do that every day. Those are excellent questions, you guys.
Great. Good. Looks like we have another one. If cash assets reside within a living trust, are they counted within the $129,000 asset cap?
I believe the question is no, if it's outside of the 3-year look back. The law has changed in 2018. Again, I would definitely talk to a client consultant for this. But outside of that law, the 3-year look back, I don't think so. But I would definitely ask the client consultants. They would definitely know this. And I will actually get this information to whoever this question is from. I'll get this information back to Robin and we'll find out for you.
Thank you very much, Kirt. Looks like we have a question. What is the one-time fee to Patriot Angels?
So the one-time all-inclusive fee, there's nothing else hourly or otherwise, is $795. That includes the entire thing. There are agencies out there that charge $4,000, $4,500 to help with aid and attendance benefit. We do not. In addition to that, it's important to remember, a second ago, we watched a video from Major General Dan York. I should probably turn my camera on so I don't look like I'm in space. But Major General Dan York, you saw a video from him just a few moments ago. One of his very close friends, his name is Michael. He's a retired naval communications officer. Michael has been in private practice as an attorney for probably in excess of 24 years. And when it was time for his mom to get senior care, she needed to move into a place that was assisted living. He figured, you know what, I'm an attorney, I'll do this myself. So he downloaded the forms, the appropriate forms, he began filling it out. By the time he sent his application in, he'd invested over 50 hours in the application. This is very common, 50 hours. In addition to that, he sent it in and he was declined. He fixed the reason he was declined for, sent it again. He was declined a second time, sent it in again. After he fixed it, declined a third time. He's declined 4 times over a year and well over now 55 hours in his application process. He brought that application to Patriot Angels and we were able to quickly fix it for him, find all of the errors, file it right the first time. When it leaves the Patriot Angels office, it's called a fully developed application. This is very important because those applications on average are about 50 pages. We have more applications that are even more pages, but on average, anywhere from 45 to 50 pages. So that's why it's very well worth it to have the pros do it for you. And there's enough transition that's going on at the same time. This definitely takes the stress off, have to do that. But the $795 is a one-time fee. There's nothing else hourly or otherwise. That is an awesome question, everybody.
Great, thank you. Looks like we have another question here. The question is, are you able to apply and use veterans benefits while you are also using other aids, such as a state waiver program?
Yes, there are different conditions. However, I would definitely recommend that you reach out to a client consultant with that. I do hear this often, but I don't know the exact answer to that. That's an excellent question. I'm also going to pass this along to Robin. She will have that information as well. But again, it depends, it's situational. It depends on how much that benefit covers.
Great, thank you. Great questions here, everybody. It looks like we have several more questions, so I'll continue on with the next question. And that is, my mom was married to a vet who passed away, but she did remarry and is now divorced from that man who is also a vet. My understanding is she is not eligible. Is that correct?
That is correct. The spouse cannot be divorced. That is correct.
Okay. And she is not eligible from her husband that passed?
Correct, because she remarried. So sadly, what happens is the VA looks at that second marriage as her benefits would have been based on his service times. So yeah, that is one of the, she cannot be divorced.
Okay. Our next question is, when did the aid and attendance benefit come into being and how long has it been around?
Years and years and years and years. And I actually, I saw that question come up and I frantically went to search. It's been into probably 50 plus 60 years. It was created in order to help veterans pay for their care. Definitely when it was created, they didn't have expensive care as we do today, but it has been around for a long, long time. This is a kind of an obscure benefit. They definitely don't tell the veteran about it when they're leaving the service. Say, hey, guess what? When you're 65, woohoo, you get this benefit. They don't do that. So largely, most veterans do not know. In fact, at the beginning of the presentation, when you saw Major General Dan York a second ago, you heard about that. Most veterans just don't know that it's there or that it even exists. So how cool is it that we've got this information? We can help train our veterans and get this benefit for them.
Great. The next question is a good question. Is this a benefit for veterans who are in a facility only, or are seniors that are veterans that are not in a facility eligible?
Okay, so aid and attendance is a need-based benefit, and it's designed to help pay for the cost of care. So the veteran does have to be, or the surviving spouse does have to be receiving some type of care. The one thing is that the care cannot be provided by the spouse, so it must be provided by a family member or a third party. Um, so someone can receive the benefit while they're at home. It is a little more difficult because the care has to, again, meet or exceed the income level of the client. So yes, you can get it at home. It is much, much easier to get it in assisted living and independent living, but you can get it from home as well, as long as you have a third-party health care coming in or a family member, not the spouse, providing assistance with those ADLs.
Okay, and I imagine, again, if folks have specific questions regarding their situation, they can reach out directly to you.
100% yes, yes.
The next question we have is, does the Patriot Angels, actually, I think it kind of got answered, but I'll ask it just to make sure I cover everything here. Does the Patriot Angels organization only assist veterans who need to be transitioned to a senior care facility, or are there options available to veterans who would prefer to remain in their own home but need or qualify for in-home care? So I
Yes,
think
that's
you answered that, but I just want to make sure I.
absolutely, yeah. And it does, you can get the same benefit with in-home care. Many veterans do. And then you can actually, as the cost of care increases, again, you can definitely keep that benefit.
Okay, great. The next question we have is, can the applicant continue to collect Social Security monthly benefit?
100% yes. That will be listed in as part of the income. So our team, our specialist team, they will actually help you make sure that your cost of care will meet or exceed that. Again, we don't move anyone forward unless we know for a fact we can get them approved. Social Security is income. So sources of income could be anything from trusts, 401k, IRAs, Social Security, inheritance, those kinds of things. We just have to make sure that our cost of care is meeting or exceeding that. So, but yes, you can receive Social Security and the benefit at the same time. The only thing you cannot do is you cannot be on more than 80% disability with the VA and receive the aid and attendance benefit. They do not allow double dipping in the benefit. So if you're 80% or more disability with VA, you're probably making more than the benefit would be, and they're going to choose whichever is greater. So excellent question though.
Okay, thank you for answering the question about the VA disability pay. That was another question that came up, so I think you answered that.
I didn't even know, so that's good.
Okay, our next question is, in determining the qualifying aid amount, does the veteran's wife count as a dependent to qualify for the $22.66 monthly amount?
Yes, it does. That's exactly what that is done. So a couple going into senior care, or even if just the veterans going into senior care, they can qualify for the $22.66. Yes. It does not happen.
Is that, just to clarify, Kurt, is that even if their spouse, their wife is deceased, they can qualify for that $22.66?
No, now if the wife is deceased, then no, it would just be the
Okay.
senior or the single veteran. But if the spouse, the husband and wife or spouse are living, then they would qualify, could potentially qualify for the $22.66.
Okay, great. Thank
Great
you. Our next
questions, you guys.
question.
This is great.
This is another good question, quite relevant as well. If the veteran is transferred to a hospital due to an illness like COVID, is that period of time covered for continued benefits?
Okay, if they are living in a protective environment, a senior living environment, then yes, or a home health and they've qualified for the benefit, then yes, it's covered. The continuity of care would be established there. However, aid and attendance would not pay for them. You can't get aid and attendance because you're going to a short-term, they would consider that short-term care. Long-term care would be, for example, a 24-hour nursing, long-term senior living provision place, but not to go to the hospital, especially if it's a short-term care. Like for COVID would be short-term. We're definitely praying it's short-term. So no, that would not be the same thing. Unless they're living in a senior care environment or they're already receiving the benefit, then yes, that would continue.
Okay, thank you. Our next question, and this is in the chat, has to do with using benefits in an independent living apartment. The question is, can my mom use the benefit for her independent living apartment?
100% yes. There are some qualifications. It does have to be a protective environment. And then also we do recommend that she has 2 ADLs being met often. The law states that it has to be a protective environment, and that's all. We found it's easier if they do have the 2 ADLs being met, which can be as simple as having a family member come by and stand by for shower assistance, those kinds of things. But yes, you can get it in independent living. We do it every day.
Okay, great. Just to clarify one point in terms of a protective environment, can you just clarify once again, what that means?
Sure. So that doesn't mean, you know, like a medieval lockdown door at the, that's not that kind of protective environment. Protective environment would be simply, for example, a pendant or pull cord or 24-hour, there's emergency assistance available, answered by someone at the front desk. But it's not open to, it's a gated community, it's closed in, it's protective. It's not a series of homes on the main street where it's not secure. So I think is that, Robin, that answer your question?
Yes, yeah, I think that's good. Thank you for that clarification. Looks like we have another new question that came in. It's a great question. How long does it typically take for an application to be approved before the vet begins to receive the benefits, and are the benefits retroactive?
Absolutely, and that is a phenomenal question. And whoever asked that, I'm so sorry. I should have told you that in the beginning. So here's the deal. Remember, we're going to go through a series of questions. And at the moment that you become an official client of Patriot Angels and you have moved forward into the long-term care assessment, the pre-filing consultation, we are going to file at that moment what is called an intent to file letter. And what's the sweet part about it is, let's just say, for example, it's going to go to the next first of the month. So let's say right now we're filing to December 1st. So let's say for some reason you just can't find mom's records and you're digging up certain pieces of paper and you can't seem to locate it. It's taking a little bit longer than planned. Let's just say for some reason it takes 40 days to get that paperwork rounded up and get it sent into the office. And then if it takes the max, remember our average time to approval is 90 to 120 business days, average. We do see them coming in faster than that, but that's our average. Let's say it takes the full 4 months, so you're 5.5 months out. Here's the sweet sauce of the entire thing. That veteran or that spouse will be back paid all the way back to the intent to file date. That's the best part about it, because it does come in a lump sum one-time payment, again, in their checking account, deposited tax-free for the rest of their life. That payment is the benefits immediately start then. The only time it's a little bit longer is if a client has been deemed, for example, an Alzheimer's patient or a dementia patient, and they're not able to financially take care of themselves or take care of their records. Whoever is their POA, they would be having to function as a fiduciary. So it potentially could take up to 45 days longer. Their benefit would kick in, but the back payment would not be in until the fiduciary status was established.
Okay, great, thank you. Another question we have here is, would the apartments that are provided by Park Place of St. John qualify as a protective environment? I think I would know the answer to that one.
There you go.
The answer would be yes, as long as the same items that Kirt discussed earlier would apply, in that the need for the ADLs.
Correct.
Another question we have here is, you mentioned that a family member could come into an independent living community and assist her loved one to shower. So would that person then qualify for the benefit between that assistance and providing the protective environment, or do they need to pay any extras to receive the benefit?
They do have to for the VA, they require proof that they're being paid for that assistance. So I think I'm answering your question. I think I've got it. They would have to have, as long as it's not the spouse providing it, can be a third party, like a home health agency coming into the independent living, or a family member, as long as it's not the spouse. And yes, it would work for the independent living.
Great. Question we have that came up in the chat is, do you have to requalify every year, or is this a one-time you're qualified and you're good?
No, it is a one and done. Actually, in the 8 years of working with the VA, we have never had anyone audited. We've never had anyone have to requalify, as long as the cost of care stays the same. Now, here's the deal. Should the cost of care decrease, for example, should a patient or a resident be living in, and they've got the benefit living in an independent living community or an AL community or memory care, should the family decide, I'm going to take them home, I'm going to keep them at home, then the cost of care is obviously decreasing, and they would then lose the benefit.
A question that I was thinking of, Kirt, if somebody is considering moving into some type of a protective environment, would you recommend that they wait to file the application until after they move in? Or should they file the application prior to moving in? Is there any advantage to doing one or the other?
Robin, that's an awesome question. And here's the deal. So we cannot file, the VA would not allow us to file for you until you are receiving the care or responsible for the cost of care. Even though we're saying independent living, it's still considered care. So if you are receiving the care responsible for the cost of care, then we can process your application. You can begin the process as long as you, by the time we apply, you're receiving the care. So that is, again, a good question for your client consultant when you call into the office. But you can begin the process, but you just would not be able to process the application or send it in until you are receiving the cost of care. Part of that is because the community has certain documents they have to supply, and you can't legally or ethically do that unless you're receiving the care. So that's a good question, though.
Okay. Great. We have another question here. The question is, to clarify, the money will be automatically deposited in an account. Does that account have to be in the veteran's name, or can the account be under the POA for financial?
Okay, so yes, it can be in the veteran's name. Most often it is. However, remember back to that POA question we answered earlier, or the statement. It would be considered as long as the client can say, yes, I want this cash to go to my POA, then it's no problem. If they're unable to make that decision, then it would be considered a fiduciary status, and it would take a little bit longer, but yes, it can go to the POA, 100%.
Great, thank you. Another question we have here is, what if the cost of care increases, such as in some independent living residences or an assisted living, as the person's care needs increase? Does anything change with the benefit amount?
Actually, no, unless they're awarded a partial benefit, then it would not increase. We do go for the maximum benefit. That's why we make sure that the assets, everything line up before we apply, because we go for the max benefit. So if the veteran is, let's just say it's a single veteran, Mr. Jack, and he is receiving the full $19.11 per month, he would not have any increase there. It would remain the same. That is the max benefit they could qualify for. Good question, though.
Great. And Kirt, just to clarify, one other thing is, does the benefit amount go up every year?
It absolutely does. In fact, we're getting ready around this time to December. They do get a cost of living increase. They'll announce that probably in the next 4 to 5 weeks.
Okay. Looks like we have another question here. How long has it been taking to receive the benefit once it's applied for?
Well, remember, our average time to approval is 90 to 120 business days. We have seen them come through much more quickly than that. Certain times, it just depends on, here's the bottom line. As soon as you become a client, just need to work quickly, because the faster that the documents are supplied and we can compile the application, the more quickly the benefit can be awarded. Again, we're not the VA. So we only work alongside the VA, but what we have seen, and again, our average time to approval is 90 to 120 days. That's the max that we've seen on average. then remember they're coming in. Some of them come through sooner than that. We've seen them come through much, much sooner than that. So.
Okay, great. Okay, I'm not sure we have any other questions. I'll leave it open just for another moment to see if we have other questions from any of our guests.
I love this slide, Robin, and to all of our veterans out there. This is an honor for us to serve in this capacity. You've served, and I just want to tell you, let us serve you now. A happy Veterans Day to all of you veterans. It's a high honor to work for you and your families.
Yes, yeah. Well, thank you very much, Kirt. And I want to thank everybody for joining us today for this program. As Kirt mentioned, with tomorrow being Veterans Day, we want to again express our sincere thanks and gratitude to all veterans out there. If you have any additional questions, you can feel free to reach out to anyone in our Providence Life Services community in your area, or contact us at info@provlife.com, and we will connect you with the right person. Kirt, I know your slides are going to be available to everybody, and I just want to reiterate that phone number for Patriot Angels one more time, and that is, Kirt, I hope I've got this correct. Correct me if I'm wrong, but the number I have is 844-747-3047.
Almost. It's 844-757.
Okay, I was close.
But it was so close.
Thank you. I'll read that off one more time. It's 844-757-3047.
Perfect.
Any questions for Patriot Angels? So I want to thank you, Kirt, and thank everybody that joined us today on behalf of all of us at Providence Life Services. Thank you for your service to our country. Have a wonderful Veterans Day.
Happy Veterans Day. Thank you again.